Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, today we are in Beverly Hills, California, and we have a treat for you. Matthew Rose was booked to come on the show, and we'll get into the bio first, and then we're gonna have a whole lot of fun getting into your content and also what you're doing. So let's do it. All right, so Matthew Rose is co-founder of The Edge, a men's leadership training community. He is a leadership coach and entrepreneur who helps founders, executives, and high-performing leaders stay grounded and clear in the midst of pressure. His work focuses on training the nervous system as essential but often overlooked component of leadership, decision-making, and sustainable success. Matthew and his team do this through coaching, retreats, and immersive leadership experiences designed to help them navigate stress, strengthen relationships, and lead with clarity and purpose. His mission is to help leaders regulate their nervous systems so they can stay inspired, share their gifts fully, and create a greater impact in the world. The right breath at the right moment inspires a man, and inspired men change the world. Let's welcome Matthew.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, Matthew. So first, I want to let's get into the edge. So first, how'd you get into this business, and helping people with performance, their nervous system, retreats? Like, where'd all this start for you?
All right, so we'll go way back. We'll go the backstory. So like many young men in New York, growing up in New York, wide-eyed, wanted to make money. And so what did I do? I was like, oh, I'll go work on Wall Street. So I headed into Wall Street and worked for Morgan Stanley. Was in the financial game for a while, enjoyed let's say I got intoxicated by it, right? The fancy suits, the parties, the Hamptons in the summer, all that stuff.
What year was this? Just roughly?
Mid-90s.
Oh, that was
Mid to late 90s.
It was a good time.
Great.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. So I said I didn't learn a lot because everyone was just making money. It was like Joe.com, this.com. So as a young person,
Pre-tech rack, pre all of that.
yeah, well, right in the beginning, the boom,
Yeah.
right, yeah, right before the crash in 2000. And so I was there. I knew everything was great until the crash in 2000. The NASDAQ crashed. And then all of a sudden, all of the irrational exuberance, as they called it, started to just cave in. And all of a sudden, I saw the reality of what it was for me. And that wasn't for me, right? I mean, I was on the phone with people that lost their entire life and their life savings, and we were managing certain accounts. And as a young man, getting on the phone with these people and trying to just sort of almost coach them through what was happening, I recognized it wasn't for me, this industry, right? And so I hung in there, though, for a little bit longer. And then September 11th happened. And that was the turning point for me. I was transferred 12 days before. I was on the 68th floor of the World Trade Center, too. And I was transferred 12 days before September 11th to a different office. I always kind of look at it as my lucky charm. I still keep my ID card of the World Trade Center in my work bag. No matter where I go, it's been with me. And it kind of woke me up. I was like, you know what? I'm not really passionate about what I'm doing. And after that, what just happened, I need a change. And so I left that company. I went to a small venture capital firm for about 5 months. I had a stint, I call it, at a venture capital firm. I was like, oh, it's going to be different. It was the same similar work, but what really started to excite me is sitting in these rooms with these founders and these people that are starting these businesses, and they're so excited about what they're doing and what they're bringing out to the world. I was like, wait a second. That's the kind of person I am. I'm built that way. I can't do this anymore. I can't be in this space, basically what I was doing there. And so I left. I was like, I'm done. I'm out. And I went to pursue a passion in health and wellness. That was always my passion. And so I went and pursued that passion, managed big facilities down in New York City. I had a lot of connections from the financial industry. So I started working with a lot of these men that needed help. So I started coaching in health and wellness then. I managed a lot of facilities there. Ended up owning spaces up in New York, like in Westchester and Greenwich, Connecticut. full circle, came out to California, met a girl, came out to California. She dragged me out to LA. I'm not complaining. Came out here, did similar work, right? And kept doing it. And the turning point for me, I owned a integrated wellness center. We had the most progressive wellness, fitness practitioners. We had chiropractors, physical therapists, naturopathic physicians, similar to what you did last night, the conversation you had with those people. And everything was great. The business was growing, except I kept getting more and more stressed. And I'm not understanding why. I'm working out all the time. I'm eating the right foods. I ran a marathon. I did all the things right.
Yeah.
What's happening? I used to joke with my wife. I said, I'm surrounded by the healthiest people, the most progressive minds in fitness and wellness, and I'm going to drop dead in my mid-30s right here. And I always ran hot. My blood pressure was about 150 over 95. But the doctor said, no, your bloods are okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep pushing. Why not? Let's just keep going. And yeah, my relationship wasn't good at all. But I couldn't see that because I was so narrow focused. I was so focused on continuing to build, make more, do more. That's the way I was wired.
Yeah.
And kind of embarrassing, but the moment that really changed everything for me, I'm 37 years old, and I had trouble maintaining an erection with my wife. 37 years old. I'm healthy. What's happening? Like most men, that was extremely shameful. I didn't even have the capacity to talk to her about it. And if you're a woman and that's happening, the first thing you're thinking of, more likely than not, is, oh, he doesn't love me. He doesn't like me. He doesn't find me sexy. Not the truth, but that was going on, right, in her head. And so all of this happening, I did what most men do. I was like, all right, I got to fix it. Solution. So I went to a men's vitality clinic. Really fancy place with all beautiful, elegant spaces and couches. And some doctor came and took all the tests and said, oh yeah, you're low in this, this, and this. We're going to give you the box of all these different things just to now get you on your way and you'll be ready to go. Your engine will be fine. And so I sat in the room with a beautiful woman. We sat on the couch. She had the box of goodies that I was going to take. And I sat there and I looked at her and I said, and she's told me the price and I was ready to do it. And I said, I think I'm going to pause. I think I'm going to just take a beat. I don't know why, just something didn't feel right. And she looked at me like nobody's ever told her no, especially at that point of the sale, I guess. And she was so used to, yeah, this is it. This is what we're doing. And I remember I walked out of there. I got in my car. I went on my phone and I just started looking up alternative medicine and alternative ways to do or to deal with what I was dealing with. And that started my journey on into alternative styles of healing and meditation and breath and different types of yoga. And from that day on, I just dove into all of these practices and we've worked with some of the most amazing teachers. And very quickly, things started to change. Very quickly, my body started to shift. The issue with my wife, gone. Things just started to change so quickly. And that's what really got me thinking, like, wow, something's different here. What is this? Right? I know fitness. I know health. I know nutrition. Who's doing this stuff? I mean, yeah, a lot of people talk about yoga and meditation, but it's still sort of out in the whispers, out in the mountains. And so that was a start. That was the start of me saying, okay, I need to do something different. Within 3 months, I walked into my wife and I said, we're selling the business. I'm done.
Wow.
We're selling it. I'm done.
So that's two major pivots, the finance one, and now you're selling the business.
Yeah.
Shout out to the wife. Like she
done.
was like,
well, yeah,
wow, yeah.
We'll get into that story. Our story is totally different, but yeah, we're ride or die in that space.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was so convincing. I knew something I knew I had to go somewhere else. I knew something was different.
How did you know as you were going through, you didn't use this word, but I'll use it, like your R&D phase of going and experimenting with all of these different either protocols or different methods or different philosophies? Like, how did you know as you were going down that would eventually turn into your own methodology and business and way to help others? How did you know?
I didn't.
Mm.
I mean, I remember sitting outside. Somebody gave me a recommendation of working with this person that was a master in a specific type of meditation and yoga. And I remember sitting outside this space and seeing people walk in, and they were like, these guys had these big beards and these turbans, and I'm like, what's going on?
Like for real?
For real. I was the farthest thing from a yoga person.
Okay.
I used to go to yoga classes and walk out if they started talking about spirituality.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'm here to stretch. Let's start talking about some philosophy that you think you know. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear that. I was all Western science. Like, if it couldn't be proven, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about that. So, and I remember on the phone, and my wife is very sweet. She's like, "You're there. Just go in." I'm like, "These are not my people. I can't go in there." You know, I was too polished and too pretty and too put together. That didn't feel right to me, and challenged everything inside of me. And I went in and went back the next day, and then the next day, and then did an 8-month retreat with this particular teacher. And so one thing that I remember that I've always held on to through this work, especially in the beginning of the journey, is, you know, I've read so many books. I've read all the books. I've listened to the podcasts. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to stop. I'm going to let my body be my book for a little bit. I'm going to turn off that part. I trust myself enough. I'm going to go in, meet with this teacher, meet with this person, and see, let that felt sense, let that experience talk to me. And if it doesn't, okay.
Yeah.
Food sucks, you leave. I'm done. I don't need to write a Yelp review.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so I kept doing that, and I've been doing that ever since. Like, say yes if it feels right. If it doesn't feel right, then you leave. You're good. And so I just keep trusting more and more what my body's telling me, and starting to really tap into that sense. So that was the beginning part of it.
So was that kind of like the seed into what developed and what grew into eventually Edge?
Right. And that was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, something's here. I don't know what's happening to me, but something's happening. And so I need to understand this more. And so I spent about 10 years being an experiment.
Oh, wow.
Right. I just experimented on myself, and then started slowly sharing it. I'm slowly starting to share it. So I never share anything, coach anybody on something that I have not immersed myself in, that I have not experimented with me enough times. I don't teach or coach from theory or from a book. But the more and more I did, the more and more I couldn't deny what was happening, not only to me. And then, you know, my wife resisted at first. She loved the changes in me, but she's like, that's for you. That's your stuff. I'm like, wait a second. No. And
You told me to go in. No.
you told me, right? Like, you wanted me to do this.
Yeah.
The more that I did it, the more that I trusted there was something there. And I think my background in health and wellness recognized, okay, this is a missing piece that people don't see and are not using enough. And I think a big part of it is because so much of it is put out there in this sort of spiritual realm. But if you break down a lot of these ancient practices, they're just nervous system training. So you could take the pieces of them, leave out the other stuff if that doesn't fit, right?
Yeah.
We don't do that, and use that and put that into a program and put that into people's life.
Why do you choose to focus on the nervous system? I know that's one of the things you're known for and that you talk about quite a bit. Like, why did you choose to focus there, or did it choose you? I don't know.
Well, again, like I said, I ran hot. So if you're married, or if you have a girlfriend, or if you had a girlfriend in the past, you know that when you get in an argument, right, in that moment, you could have the best communication tools in your pocket. You could have all the couples therapy that you want. In that moment, somebody's going to start to act like a 2-year-old. Somebody's brain the amygdala, the part of our brain that is like reptilian, the part of us that's like emotional, gets triggered. I was the trigger. I was the emotional one in the couple. And so no matter what therapy we did, no matter what communication style I did, man, when I got triggered and we would get into it, I'd get hot. Like that was I'm reactive. And I see that how it ruins a ton of relationships, reactivity. So for me, I was like, well, I have to do something to calm this down. What do I need to do? Right. And so that was the start of trying to really work with some of these practices more intentionally and see how I can bring that into my relationship, into my everyday life, into being a dad. You know, all that stuff comes into play. Moment to moment, our nervous system, think of it like your operating system, like on the phone, the internal operating system. You get a notice all the time that you have to, upgrade the operating system or whatever it is, right? Because it fixes the bugs or all the little things that I'm not a tech guy that it does, and you just do it.
Yeah.
That's what these practices do. So the more that you dive into the tools that we offer, it starts to actually clean some of the bugs in your system without you even having to know about it. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to go deep into the trauma and all the other stuff. You actually could do things that are just clearing out the gunk, clearing out the bugs that we're constantly accumulating in our life because of the way we're living, because of all the things, because of the beeps and the notifications. And you start to downshift, you start to regulate, you start to actually be more present without having to think about it, because we don't need one more thing to think about.
You mentioned tools. Can you, I always like for the people in the audience, of course, but people at home to walk away with a tool, like something they can do. Like, can you give me some advice? Like, what are some of the tools or something that we can do to start kind of thinking?
Well, it's like
about
mindfulness, right? Everyone talks about mindfulness. It's a big deal today, right? There's no mindfulness without your breath. Like mic drop. You can't be mindful without using breath. And most of us are so tight in the body and have such little capacity to breathe because we're just not doing it. And so oftentimes people think of doing breath or meditation, and like when I first started, the noise was so loud in my head. And so the idea of sitting there and trying to zone out and think of nothing was treacherous, right? I'm like, I'm doing it wrong. I can't do this. I'm done. And so we have to get very specific. So a very easy tool, close your eyes, breathe for 5 seconds, count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. While your eyes are closed, you're literally visualizing the numbers, like you're looking at them on a screen. And you're going to have thoughts come in, great, and they're going to go out. And just think about it, you're literally training your mind. Like you're putting your mind on a leash and saying, okay, we're going to go for a walk for 5 minutes and then we're coming back, and keep doing it. You don't have to do this big hour-long, 2-hour-long meditation, although that's great.
Yeah.
It's about how can you implement these little tools throughout the day? You know, I have a lot of clients, I have them set alarms. So 3 to 4 alarms throughout the day on their phone. When the alarm goes off, stop at what you're doing, close your eyes, and start this very specific breath for 1 minute. Notice where you are. Like right now, if you close your eyes, is your jaw, are your teeth touching? Most people, our teeth are touching. That's the first sign that there's stress, that your body has this low level of stress. Can you breathe into your belly, and is your belly soft? Or is it hard to breathe all the way down, like into your sex organs? Most of us have trouble doing that. And it's not because anything's wrong with us. We're just bracing for impact. Our whole lives, or there's this low level of tension. And some of it has to do with the way you're living. Some of it has to do with individual lifestyle. It has to do with technology. We're inundated. And so these practices really help us start to recalibrate, if you will, this system that we're living in.
Man, you got me wanting to breathe over here. I feel like Matt should walk us through a breath or something. What do you guys think? A little breathing exercise? What?
Sure.
You game? Are we game? Yeah, I'm game. He's over here talking about, I want to breathe. Go ahead. Walk us through something. I'm in. This is great.
All right, let's do some breath.
Yeah, let's do it.
How excited do we want to get here? All right, so let's just close our eyes.
All right.
The best part is closing your eyes. It's funny because
I'm
I
in.
had a client about 6 months ago came into my office and he couldn't even close his eyes. And it's not uncommon, right? It's very confronting for us just to be in a space and close our eyes. And that's the first sign. That's your nervous system, like on guard, worrying about what's there, what's going to happen. So it's not anything bad. It's just, we don't do it. So just close your eyes and just notice that and see if you can sit up straight and just notice, are your teeth touching? If your teeth are touching, just let your jaw relax. And just notice, can you breathe through your nose? If you can, if you're all stuffed up, I know it's allergy season. If you can breathe through your nose, inhaling really deep down into your lower belly, all the way down into your sex organs. If we want to get biological, we call it the pelvic floor, but just breathing all the way down, nice and soft through your nose. And then on your exhale, imagine that your jaw is so open, it just kind of drops to the ground, almost like you're like a funny cartoon character. So you're inhaling, letting your belly be really soft. And the exhale, just letting your jaw almost drop to the ground. That's the important part. Really relaxing the jaw. And if you want, see if you can start to count. If you have it in you, you can inhale for 5 seconds on your own, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1. So just keep going. And literally, you're looking at the numbers. Even though your eyes are closed, you just keep focusing on the numbers. Numbers are going up, numbers are going down. And as you start to drift into thought, which is normal and natural, that's going to happen, just find your way back to the number. It can get frustrating. We can be sitting there saying, oh, I'm not doing this right. No, you're fine. And just keep doing it. And that's just a simple way of how we start to train our mind. So we could train ourselves to be more connected to our body. If you're sitting in that space and your eyes are closed, can you pay attention to the physical sensations in your body? Can you notice the itch, the ache, all the little physical sensations that are popping up as if you're scanning with a big flashlight? Our body's constantly sending off messages. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to attend to those things. We want to scratch the itch. We want to move. This hurts, that hurts. Really just know that that's your mind. That's your mind saying, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to sit here anymore. I need to do something. Let's go. What are we doing? That's all your mind. And so the more we can use the breath, the more that we can connect to the sensations in your body and actually start to notice the physical things that are going on without attending to them, without doing anything, the more present we are to those moments. And then we can talk about how all that works and all the things that it might help us in all aspects of our life, especially relational aspects. Yeah, you guys can open your eyes now. We're not going to go too deep into this. It's not that type of night, but
I don't know. I feel better. How's everybody else feel? Everybody's like, wait a minute.
So yeah,
That's great.
So what we do normally when somebody comes in to work with us privately, step one is regulate, right? So we have to help regulate depending on who walks into my office, or if I do a lot on Zoom. It's like assessing where that person is. Like, I don't know where they are. So the first step is like, how do we start to regulate? How do we do things like that?
Yeah.
How do I give them little tools that they can start to use every day to bring more awareness? Because step one is bringing the nervous system down to a space where they start feeling less reactive, right? And they're able to just be a little more in that moment, more and more every day. And then starting to bring more awareness, like setting the alarms so that over time, 30, 60, 90 days, of doing that 3 times a day for a minute, they start to develop a natural awareness without having the alarm set. They're like, oh, wait, my teeth are touching. Oh, I can't, my belly feels tight right now after that conversation. So you start to just naturally bring the awareness to the body.
Yeah.
And that's where you have the opportunity to do something different. Then what we do, which is something that, it's like, but then we reintroduce. So first we want to take the stress out of the person. We want to help them de-stress. Second step is we want to reintroduce stress. But we want to reintroduce stress and help them. That's where the training really begins. So we put people in uncomfortable positions. So for example, you might be holding your hands out like this for 10 minutes. And at the same time as you're doing that, you're training your body to breathe and relax and smile and relax your jaw. So we start to retrain the body how to handle a stress response, because the physical stress response is first. Then I'll have them start to think about something that's bothering them, something they're perseverating on, a fight they had with somebody, an argument, something at work, while they're holding a position and while they're breathing and relaxing. So they start to literally train their nervous system to do something different under pressure. So instead of bracing for impact and getting all tense, they're able to, okay, this thing is happening. I have this stress here. I can feel that. I'm okay, but I'm able to still be here, not disconnect, not brace for impact, not narrow my field. All those things that start to happen in the body. So it's literally a retraining.
All right. So this is my last question, and then we'll open it up for the audience, so everybody else can get in here. So how does this, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of executives in here today, but also that watch this program, performance, high performing individuals. How does this relate, and how does this help?
How does it relate? So it's like we're driving a sports car constantly, and we're on like 7,000 RPMs, right? And so if the body's constantly there, what happens is we're performing, we're making money, the business is being built, right? But 9 times out of 10, something is giving, right? The something is going to give. So oftentimes it's the relationships. So it's either a relationship at home, it's the relationship like with yourself, you're disconnecting, or there's some sort of like I find within teams. So a lot of times somebody will work with me and they might be the founder, the CEO of a company, but their team is miserable, right? They're doing it, they're working, but this person is driving them crazy, right? And so how do we, when that person finally says, hey, I'm noticing something different, I want to do something different, I need to do something different, right? This is introducing that different, right? We're helping them. So oftentimes, and I work more than not with men, a guy will come to my office and he's like, man, I want to feel alive again. Like, I want to feel alive, and I want to have the freedom to start to enjoy the life that I built, right? Because if their nervous system is constantly stuck in this overdrive, they're not enjoying that. They don't even know that the freedom is there. They can't see it, right?
Yeah.
Just book another show, right? Just do another thing, build another business. Literally, they can't see it. And so they're missing out. And then when they start to wake up to that, and when they start to regulate, then they can hear more, right? They can receive more. You can't even oftentimes, and look, I'm not dissing therapy. Therapy is great. But I think oftentimes we can't receive the benefits of therapy because our nervous system is all messed up. Our nervous system is so dysregulated that we're not even open to hearing it. We're sitting in the office, we're having the conversation with our lover or our partner, but we're not really hearing it because we're so dysregulated. We're so on to the next thing. And we often describe it as personality problems, right? But it's a nervous system problem. So like, let's get regulated first. And in today's world, that's not easy. You know, getting a client and telling them to not check emails on a weekend. What?
Yeah.
When I tell them, hey, here's what's going to happen. today you're going to go outside in nature for 2 hours. You're going to leave the office. You're going to tell everyone I'm done for 2 hours. Right? But that's the start of it. That starts to regulate them so that they can actually see the field differently. And that's a big part of what I want, right? So for me, it's like, I want to re-inspire, right, the people that already have the drive.
Yeah.
They already have the drive. They're building things. But when they're not inspired, they're not out there creating the impact that they can have. And so when I see them do that, I had a lawyer that was very successful LA lawyer and stressed out of his mind, but doing well to all extents, right? Everyone think he's great. And started working with me and started regulating his nervous system. And when we start to regulate and people start to see things differently, he started to open and he started to share more and do something. Like all of a sudden he wanted to cook. He's like, I remember I used to cook. I remember I used to cook. Guy in his late 40s started cooking for his family. That was his way now of giving love to his wife and his children. Then what? He loved it so much. He's like, you know what? I want to do more of this. And he started opening up sushi restaurants. He's like, oh, I want to do sushi. And so that created such a joy for him and such a shift in his life and his personality and his family, because he was just opening things up again by regulating his nervous system. Something that therapy didn't do. It didn't matter. He was too smart for therapy. He would outtalk the therapist. So that's why I do what I do. And it's really beautiful to see those things happen with people.
Amazing.